To Shine. The name is Law Nation Sports. Appreciate each and every last one of you all for helping the nation grow one day at a time, one movement at a time, brick by brick. We stack these things together. And Mama said there'll be days just like this. Cowboys trading up for Bijan Robinson, cons and pros, plus more. Come on. They really say ain't no party like a cowboy party. But what about a trade-up groove for you and you? Give me fire. Put fire in the chat. As the room fill up, we only got one order for the nation. And that is hit that like button. Well, we really have three of them. Sharing is caring. Shout out to the HBO gang. Share gang all day, every day. Yup. Five, 4, 3, 2, mount up. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. For those who watch this channel on the Rewind for your mind, I really appreciate you guys so much. As we continue to talk about the Cowboys, I said it before. During this time, it's the lion season, and I've been saying that for many of years now. Teams at this point will lie to kick it. They will say, yeah, I really love Bijan. Or they would say, I really love Joey Porter Jr. Oh, I can't live without Luke Van Ness, right? So that is what it is. And we will fall into the traps of it by fighting each other. So that's why I really do like after the draft. I don't really like before the draft. I love evaluating players. I love giving you guys my analysis and my approach to the game. But I really like to grab hold to those things that are tangible, right? Physical things that we can literally see and look on the roster and say, all right, cool. This is what this team is going to look like. This is where we're heading to. And I get it. Right now, everybody want to be right? Everybody would love to say, hey, the pick that I selected, man, I was right. Everybody else was wrong, but look at what I said, right? And that's not me. I don't want to stand on the top of a hill and say, hey, look at the things I've done. No, that's far from me. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in to the nation. So here's the thing. Shout out to you, Charles White, over there on Facebook. Hit that share button, baby. Hit that share button. And Swain and things over there. I see you over there, fam. I see what you want to do. He want to do this right here. Come on. Where is that?
Smoke weed every day.
Shout out to you for celebrating that day for you and all that's watching and that's listening today, if you are in a right frame of mind, right? So let's get right to the chase. So on 105.3, the Fan, Florio. Let me see if I can get it right over here. Give me 1 to 2 more seconds while I set this up. And there we go. Boom, bada, bam. Shout out to him over there, and shout out to 105. But my guy, Action Jackson, done cut it up really good, and we're going to utilize his template, and we're going to go.
Do you buy the idea that the Cowboys, and there's been some chatter about this, I know Todd McShay mentioned it yesterday, but do you buy the idea that the Cowboys could be so enamored with Bijan Robinson that they would go up for him?
Well, remember when they were enamored with Darren McFadden, the Arkansas guy, and they got Felix Jones instead that year? They didn't move up. They resisted. Now, it would have been, I think, a pretty strong move because it was 4th overall. where McFadden went to the Raiders. But remember how Jerry was so excited about getting the Arkansas great running back? And it was the year after Adrian Peterson, so there was even more of a premium. I think the reality with running backs, teams have learned when you take a running back in the top 10, it really is a major risk because of the injury-prone nature of the position, not the player, but the position. Giants took Saquon Barkley second overall, had a great rookie year, and then what happens? Injuries start. Because of the position, you're in car crashes constantly. You'd rather invest that pick in a position where you've got a greater likelihood that the guy's going to be able to play. So it comes down to how far they'd have to go.
My thoughts on this, and shout out to Mike Florio and 105.3 The Fan. My thoughts on this will be no. But there are cons and pros in everything. The pro side will be you're getting a phenomenal running back, right? You're getting a guy that's compared to Saquon Barkley, LaDainian Tomlinson, Barry Sanders, right? Zeke, as far as some of the things that he can do. Oh, you're getting compared to a whole bunch of things. But I don't think that he's in the same wheelhouse as those boys. Now, granted, you may have 1 year, 2 years of that elite versions of Bijan Robinson. Now, the con will be, yes, you moved all the way up there to get that said player, but look what you would give up. Look what all of the things you would give up. Now, if Robinson is there at the 26th pick, it's a no-brainer. Baby, hey, go in and do that. With the 26th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Bijan Robinson. I wouldn't mind that at all, right? But I don't think that the Cowboys should utilize all of their resources to slide up and get him. I just don't think that will be the right move, in my opinion.
And I think there are several teams out there, and I'm a firm believer. When the dust settles next Thursday night, whoever's gotten Bijan Robinson, we're going to look. If it's a playoff contender that gets Bijan Robinson, we're going to look and say, holy crap, that's a Super Bowl contender now. Woo! And I think the Cowboys, if they get him, would fall into that category. You look at other teams that can maybe get him. The Eagles are out there. Wouldn't you guys love that if the Eagles get him with Jalen Hurts? You know, if the Vikings would get in position to get him and then move on from Dalvin Cook, there are plenty of teams where you throw Bijan Robinson onto that offense. You know, people regard him as one of the top 3 players, regardless of position in this draft. It changes everything. And it'd be very fascinating to see how high the Cowboys would go and what they would give up to try to get him, because to the extent that they've got urgency to try to win a Super Bowl, that's the one guy I think that can make the biggest difference for them right away.
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
When you're fighting against the unknown, that is what the draft is all about, the unknown. The known commodity will be the free agency. I've been saying this for many of years. If you really want to get a known commodity, you got to do it in the free agency. I've seen teams win the Super Bowl just by understanding that they don't want to deal with the unknown. Stephon Gilmore, he was a necessary pick for the Patriots for them to win the Super Bowl. Why? Because they knew what he would be able to bring to the table. They didn't have to trade up and do all of the jumping through hoops to see whether or not a DB, the unknown, can do that. So was Talib, right? They knew that if they paired those two boys up together, was Talib was with Revis, right? They knew what they was going to get out of Revis and Talib over there in Patriots land, right? And when the Broncos won their first Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, they went and made moves in the free agency time or traded for guys. So if you're saying that, yeah, a running back is a guy away from winning the Super Bowl, yes, there are chances of that happening. Just like
simply because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have evidence that something doesn't exist.
So all of that could be true, right? There's things there's things like this. Two things can be true, right? But the reality of it is that the likelihood of it is very slim. That's all I'm saying.
Howie Roseman wouldn't be dumb enough to take a running back at 10
Well,
he might take him.
I don't know. Maybe the Cowboys got to jump to number 9. Wasn't there something like that happened recently? I think it was the Eagles jumped the line in front of the Giants, I think, to get Devontae Smith a couple of years ago when the Giants really, really wanted.
Well, the Eagles jumped in line to get a Devontae Smith, but saying he'll go into the Giants didn't necessarily mean that he would be who he is now, right? And one can argue that they could have got a kind of caliber of wide receiver where if they would just set still. Now, shout out to Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper, for all what he brings to the table for the Eagles, but it was a good situation and scenario for us because right then and there, we were able to get Parsons. And one can argue if they didn't do that, that means that they really technically passed up on Parsons. So who is better as it relates to collectively for a team, a Michael Parsons or a Devontae Smith, right? So if you pick up, let's say, for example, you put Smith on the Cowboys, would he given us the same impact Parsons would have, right? Juxtaposed if the Eagles were to draft Parsons, right? So there's so many, hear me out.
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns, things we don't know that we don't know.
There we go. So my whole thought with this is there's a lot of variables that comes to mind. Coaching staff, how things are delivered, how things are viewed upon, etc. Right? So I can literally say this. The Cowboys did bring in Zach Charbonnet, right? Charbonnet. And Charbonnet is a powerful back, right? Downhill runner, average 7 yards per tote in his collegiate career. And on top of that, last season had 14 total touchdowns, 350 yards, I believe something around there, 1,300 yards rushing. Right? And he's a downhill runner. He can catch out of the backfield. He can do those things, those gritty things for you. What if you combine that with a Tony Pollard, with a Malik Davis or a Rico Dotto? You know, you can literally have a team that's complete just from that notion, right? So you don't have to trade away assets and give up so many things. And excuse me, for those who are out there watching, keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. There will also be big shoes to fill if you draft a guy, if you move up to the first, real up in the first round to go get a running back. And those shoes will be, hey, Ezekiel Elliott was able to do X, Y, and Z his rookie year. And I'm not saying that Bijan can't do what Ezekiel Elliott did in his rookie year, but the chances 9 times out of 10, it won't be the same thing. And look at the shoes that when you play with that star on the side of your helmet, it's all about, hey, the attention. You can't fall down and scrape your knee because everybody, mama, uncle, cousin will be talking about this. So I'm not saying that you shy away from drafting Bijan Robinson because of the levels of expectations. But what I'm saying is the Cowboys better make a calculated move on a certain guy. And why stress out everything when you can just sit still, draft the offensive lineman, or go with whoever the BPA at the spot of the 26th selection, juxtaposed to trading all the way up. You still have 5 years for that player in the first round. And I can hear people banging on the table saying, Law, wait a minute, Law, hold on. What you mean, Law? What you trying to say? Come on, man. None of these guys are Bijan Robinson. What you mean, Law? Yeah, we will all celebrate if the Cowboys draft Bijan. But at the same time, for your mind, I truly believe, ladies and gentlemen, that you can get similar production from other backs, and you don't have to spend that heavy price tag to do such. That's all I'm saying with this whole situation and scenario, you know.
Really wanted them. So those divisional feuds can play out as you manage the draft board. But I'm telling you, Robinson is a guy. We're going to be talking about it next Friday morning. The team that has Bijan Robinson, there's going to be a glow, there's going to be a vibe, there's going to be a feeling that team is now a very serious contender to win it all.
No doubt. Any team, look, the hype will always have any team saying that this guy is generational. He will be the next best thing since sliced bread. My guy Chris214 says Bijan Robinson at 26 is like Pollard on a one-year rental now. It will make Pollard a one-year rental, Chris214. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. Pollard price tag is what it is. It is what it is. The Cowboys, when you look at everything and you contextualize everything, we always have the expectations of winning the Super Bowl. Even if the Cowboys with the 26th pick, I'm going to switch subjects right quick. Even if they do, with the 26th pick, the Cowboys select Michael Mayer, right? There'll be a lot of people angry and upset at that. A lot of people will be looking at this saying, oh, it's doom and gloom. Even when I said earlier this week, if your roster is what it is at face value today, can we win multiple games? Can we win multiple games? Can we win 12 games or can we win 11 games with the roster as it is right now? Can we win these games? Right? And I know when you get to the playoff time, you have to crunch things in even more and you have to be more precise with your plan. But I can tell you right now that it will really take coaching staff, philosophy, scheme, and all of those things in order for you to win. Not one individual, not one. So that's how I look at it, ladies and gentlemen. And it is what it is at this point, Cowboy Nation. So with that being said, I really look at it like this. We all like Bijan Robinson. I'm not trying to put any salt down the womb of anyone saying that, hey, look at running backs, look at the history of running backs drafted in the first round, look at the expectations, etc. No. But what I'm saying is the Cowboys, don't rush it. Don't feel like you got to rip the Band-Aid off now, pour alcohol over it, and forget to extract the bullet. Just whoever the BPA is, take your time. Extract the bullet. Get it out of you, right? Make sure the wound is healed properly. Slow and steady wins the race. You don't have to rush it. And the Cowboys should do just that. George says the Chargers would take Mayer. Yeah, maybe they could. That's why I can't wait for next week so we can get all of this out the way, right? So the levels of expectations can go. So all of that can be one of those things whereas we can say, okay, now it's time for us to do our analysis on the linebacker we drafted. Now it's time for us to do our analysis on the Cowboys drafting X, Y, and Z guy. And here's my thoughts, too. Remember, the draft is like a puzzle. You can't grade the draft. I know people love to do the draft day grades or what have you. When you see the full picture, when you see everything on how it's been all assessed together, right? Or assembled together, that's a better way to say it. And you can look at, okay, the first pick goes with this, the second pick goes with that. Oh, the third pick, hey, boy, we got to steal out of that situation, and this will help the room out in these capacities. There's so many angles when you're looking at this beautiful draft, and that's why we all love it. Law, have you seen the drills of Darnell Washington pushing the sled 10 yards back like it was a stack of hay, while other tight ends struggle to push it 5 yards? Tight ends better than running back. I've seen some of, and shout out to you, Sanjay. Appreciate you. I've seen some of Darnell Washington tape, and catch radius is there. Not the best release guy off of his routes, but he is your mobile tight end. If the Cowboys, is that Darnell Wright? Oh, yeah, Darnell Washington. Yeah. So he is your mobile tight end. He's like a Darnell Wright as it relates to him being able to run on to the backfield and run up a seam or what have you, but also give you inline blocking, right? So those are the things that you can look at from a tight end perspective. Now, is it worthy of 26th pick? I can tell you no, but if you fall in love with him, and if you want to get greedy, all you have to do is trade back. I promise you he will still be there, right, in the 30th range. So if you want to finagle the draft a little bit, and I call it getting cute, you can do that. It's called trying to bet on yourself, right? And stretching your scouting team. Because if I'm the general manager or if I'm the owner of this team, I would say, all right, hey, Willie, I know we can't get Bijan Robinson, or I know we can't get X, Y, and Z. Who in this draft is similar that we can finesse in the third round or in the second round, et cetera? You guys get what I'm saying? Those are things that how you can do that. Trade back. Work it the best way possible. Hey, I got to cut it short, Cowboy Nation. I really got to go. But I just wanted to jump live real quickly to talk about those things. I really appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Regardless of the situation, I know it's a real short show. We'll be live a little later on tonight with the Final Word Draft Edition. Be sure to check us out. But I wanted to get this out. And then be sure to hit those notification bells. And there will be more and more content that will be populating throughout the airways here. Cowboy Nation, be sure. And when I say this, be sure to not allow other news that's happening around the NFL to affect your thoughts. I've seen some Eagle fans talking some noise about Matt Patricia. They said, oh, yeah, man, we got us another DC. He's going to be better. But I want you guys to contextualize this. I think Dak Prescott is 4-0 versus the Detroit Lions. But within that time spell, between 2018 to 2020, Patricia was there. I think we played the Lions twice, or something like that. And Dak Prescott, I know one game. It's on my Twitter, right? It's on my Twitter. Let me see if I can find it. Give me 1 second. He put up 444 yards against that defense, 3 touchdowns, and Slade was there, right? Slade was there. So, hear me out. Boy, we finna put up 400 yards on those Eagles when we play them. I can't wait. I can't wait for the draft thing is over to get some real football out. Yeah, just get over it. Yeah. I can't wait too, Coach Marv. We all can't wait. Brenda, appreciate you. Thanks, Law. Thank you. That's what we do. Let's continue to grind and shine, baby. But write these things down. If there's one thing a man should always do, is mainly to himself stay true. Never allow someone to change your point of view unless what they bring makes sense to you. Never judge a man by sight alone, nor by the height he has grown. And when speaking, keep it at a moderate tone. Because raised voices turn hearts into stone. You see, in the beginning, it was how about them Cowboys? The morals of life, live love and respect for another. Then there are those who will try to be smart. They would take a decent man to alter his heart to seek to rip him apart. Those men you should never call a friend because they bend the lies around the truth. Meet their end. Yes, indeed. They did it right. They just right, Eastside, Harrell. Appreciate you. He said law is selling dreams. If Dr. Martin Luther King can sell dreams, I think that the guy by the name of Law Nation can as well. And his dream came true. His dream was solidified. permeating throughout all of the four corners of this universe, right? Although they are still shaky, there are things that still unrattling, and it's not the right and proper way at times. But I can tell you as clear as you guys can hear me, Law Nation is going to continue to believe in his dream. He's going to continue to tell you guys to stand tall and continue to fight and continue to do the will of the Lord. And as well as the hope and the promise, even my mom told me that she had a dream and she had a vision that Law, yes, can get to 100K. And I'm going to continue to give you guys my unbelievable thoughts in my mind. So yes, Law is selling dreams. We're also selling hopes. And I hope that I can inspire all of you all to do the same. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Let's go. Salute. Get him. Kalijah Kentz. Hey, let's get him. Roll credits too, by the way. Appreciate you, Lord Nova. Appreciate you. Thank you. He says, Mama Law praying for her. Yeah, appreciate you, dog. Let's go. Hey, ho. Come on. Shout out to you, Coach Mark. Hey.
Damn.
One love until next time. DC for life, not for short. No. We're not folding up like wallets nor lawn chairs.
I've been really in the field.
Cool.
Love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up.